What's up, guys? Ralph from New Balance Gaming here. And while I was away at Smashcon, by the way, I got to play some really cool people in Nick Brawl Smashcon. Got to hang out with Pancake Mix for a bit, and even play some people I didn't know in Nick Brawl at the indie game setup who were just interested in the game. Talked to them about it, and it seems like there's a lot of hype for Nick Brawl too. So that's really exciting to see. But while I was away at Smashcon, they uploaded the Squidward character spotlight, and then this morning was the Jimmy character spotlight. So I will be going over both of those to catch up and make sure that I am all caught up on character spotlights. So we're going to start with Squidward. I have watched this one. I watched this one in the hotel room. I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to see what Squid was all about. I have not seen Jimmy yet. So let's get into this.
Favorite neighbor, Squidward Tentacles, is the first character new to the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 cast.
Shout out to Far, by the way, who's doing these character spotlights. He was the first one that let me interview him for my player profiles series, which if you guys are interested in seeing that come back, let me know down in the comment section down below. I could definitely be interested in doing more of those for Nick Brawl 2. So yeah, let me know. But shout out to Tafar. These are really well done, and he's a really cool guy. So
That will be covered.
also, I love the
Squidward Tentacles
the
is the
future.
first character new to the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 cast that we'll be covering in this series of character
So that's a
spotlights.
taunt.
With unique movement options available at his disposal, vein-popping anger that can be channeled
we do
into
have
a huge
confirmed that
speed
that's a
boost and
taunt.
damage buff, as well as plenty of artistic talent. Squidward is here to show that he too
And so
can
I
tussle
have
with the
some more
best.
information on some of this stuff. We'll get into
First,
it.
let's quickly cover Squidward's basic moveset.
Also, this
Squidward's light up
stage
attack
seems interesting. I don't know if this is going to be legal.
is a bit low range, but
Probably not, because the platforms are kind of weirdly placed, but maybe.
it is also equipped with some invincibility. Squidward's light up attack is a bit low range,
So this is his light up, his up tilt, which seems kind of weird because it seems more like a jab, but
it is also equipped with some invincibility, making it a great anti-air that can also start.
so it looks like
making a
it
great
does hit
anti-air.
above you. It looks like his head maybe has a hitbox. Squadward got the janky ass hitbox, dude. Oh no. But it, having iframes on an anti-air, pretty good. It's gonna make people think twice about approaching you.
Making it a great anti-air that can also start combos. Downlight, likewise, is on the short side, but it's also an incredibly powerful spike. So you better give Squidward the respect he deserves. But it's also an
So
incredibly
a
powerful spike.
dash attack into
So you
downlight
better give
cancel
Squidward the respect he
for
deserves.
spike.
As for his grounded charge attacks, you might be able to recognize each of these from some memorable moments in SpongeBob between some lovely dance moves, a delicious
pretty
crusty
sweet.
crab pizza, and of course, Krakatoa.
So yeah, it seems like Squid's moves are a little stubby.
Grounded charge attacks, you might be able to recognize each of these from some memorable moments.
That seems that seems a bit stubby.
SpongeBob between some lovely dance moves, a delicious crusty crab pizza,
This looks like, yeah, that has some range on it for sure. That's probably got a good hitbox on it, and it's probably disjointed a slight bit.
and of course, Krakatoa.
And that seems a bit stubby, but it's definitely a disjoint, so that seems pretty good.
Squidward's light aerials are integral parts of his combo game.
I love the
and his light
the
forward
dance
and up
moves.
aerials are both
Those are
multi-hit
so funny.
attacks that can be used to drag opponents down to extend your punishes. His down air is a spike, and besides being used to
Also,
drag opponents down to
throw
extend your
animation.
punishes, his down air is a
Pretty nice. I like it. Back off, Jack.
are both multi-hit attacks that can be used to drag opponent parts of his combo game. And his light forward and up aerials are both multi-hit attacks that can be used to drag
So
opponents
fair
down
and
to
up
extend your
air
punishes.
are
His down air is a
multi-hits.
spike,
You can use
and
them to...
besides being a beautiful display of artistry in the form of movement and rhythm, his neutral air also boasts plenty of range, which can help him assert dominance in the air.
That nair is... That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a spacing nightmare to try to get in on. So his fair and up air are multi-hits. You can probably use them for drag downs.
In case you didn't notice earlier, Squidward is, in fact, capable of him assert dominance in the air.
So
In case you didn't notice earlier,
I don't know what this is supposed to be. His bear? Oh, no, that's his up air, right. That seems pretty good. It seems like it's maybe got a little bit of range to it up top.
Squidward is, in fact, capable of performing
is
double
Nair.
jump cancels. If you perform an aerial within the first few frames of performing a double jump, Squidward will accelerate back towards.
That's got to be his
perform an
back
aerial
air.
within the first few frames of performing a double jump. Squidward will.
Yeah, that one. That's his back air. So he has DJC, which is cool. Double jump cancel, which is something that like Yoshi in Smash can do. So kind of an interesting mechanic.
Accelerate back towards the ground immediately, allowing him to do attacks closer to the ground and even quickly change directions if you hold left or right.
So he's kind of got a little bit of like Nasby 1 mechanics with air dash down with his DJC, which is cool.
Squidward's down special allows him to channel his blind anger into something a little more helpful. After leaving himself vulnerable for a few seconds, Squidward's speed and damage output are increased dramatically, making it easier to find an opening or secure a knockout. And those combos that you saw earlier naturally become far more devastating.
That's got to be his strong down air.
And those combos that you saw earlier.
That's definitely a strong dare.
naturally become far more devastating.
Dash attack.
Squiddy's other specials include his clarinet, which fires a projectile that gets stronger.
So this is cool. You can also something we noticed when you get a slime meter bar.
Stronger the longer.
That's the little animation. So that'll tell you when your opponent gets slime. Or when you get slime if you don't want to look at the bar. This is cool. I like that it charges, so it can give you a little bit more options.
And a side special, Artistic Genius, which pulls a random painting from...
Yes, we have Bold and Brash. And I did confirm that this is essentially Game & Watch Judge. Basically, each of the different paintings have different properties. So... his side special basically is Judge, so you get a little bit of RNG.
From his portfolio. Different paintings have different strengths.
The Sea Bear, that's gotta be the 9, right?
There's also, of course, his up special.
His
Squidward
bike.
hops on his bike, which immediately explodes and sends him flying. That's all we'll show for Squidward this time around. So make sure to give him a try and see if you're bold or brash enough to make his talents shine.
So overall thoughts on Squidward, I actually really like his character design. Giving him Judge is really funny. The DJC stuff, I imagine, is going to be an insane matchup check for people that don't know how to fight him. And I imagine Squid's probably going to be pretty high on the tier list when the game first drops, just because of stuff like DJC. Kind of giving some people some problems. His moves seem a bit stubby. Like, he doesn't have the best range, so he might struggle against zoners or characters with good spacing tools. But it seems like if he gets in, he does a lot of work up close. So, really cool. I actually really like Squid's character design and what they did with him here. So, we're going to move on.
Jimmy Neutron, the boy...
Whoa. Hello, Tafar. Move on to Jimmy Neutron here.
Genius makes his way into Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 as a defensive zoner, wielding all sorts of fantastic inventions.
Yeah, so defensive zoner.
An all-purpose toaster, the super bubblegum mobile, intelligent purple flirt rocket launcher, and many more. Jimmy's most noteworthy invention is, of course, his beloved robot companion, Goddard, who can be summoned with down special, and once active, can be controlled by again pressing down special. If you choose to let him keep running, he'll explode on contact with the opponent. Goddard will be destroyed after taking a bit of damage, so try to keep him close.
Okay, so kind of like Rosalina Luma, mixed with a little bit of Gur from Zim.
Goddard can fly around with the control stick, shoot lasers with the charge attack button, chomp with the regular attack button, and even be dropped on enemies' heads by holding down and again pressing the regular attack button. Just be careful to remember that while you're controlling Goddard, Jimmy himself will be stationary and vulnerable, but all you have to do to switch back is, again, press the special button. You'll also immediately be forced back to Jimmy if he starts taking damage. As for his other gadgets, Jimmy's neutral...
So that's really interesting. It's basically like... It's basically like, yeah, Rosaluma, where it's not like Ice Climbers where it's the two different characters and one's a CPU. I think Goddard's going to be ridiculous on edge guards and ledge traps, especially if you can just send him out there with no fear and just have him exist out there as like a threat, basically. Whereas you have zero commitment to that option. You know, you just kind of stand on the other side of the stage. Or you can even stand close enough that if Goddard misses, you can get a ledge trap. Yeah, that's going to be trouble.
Which is a rocket launcher that lets you pre-program a series of inputs into the rocket's trajectory, meaning whichever directions you press while charging the rocket, that's the direction the rocket will travel. If all that neuron activation is too complicated for you, don't worry.
That's exactly what I just said.
Jimmy
You could
has
just
plenty of fancy tricks without Goddard.
You just stand on the other side of the stage. So this is really interesting. It's not like Jenny who can control her rocket. This you have to pre-program. So you can maybe do something like if you have it here, and if there weren't platforms here, your opponent might be recovering high. You send this out high, and then you cover low. Although I don't know why you wouldn't use Goddard for that, but it could be cool.
If all that neuron activation.
Yeah, so this is literally like
don't direction the rocket will travel. If all
Goddard just knocks you off stage and then
too complicated for you, don't worry. Jimmy has plenty of fancy tricks without Goddard. His disjointed attacks, like his grounded light forward and aerial light forward.
What?
Fancy tricks without Goddard. His disjointed attacks, like his grounded.
Oh, a claw comes from his backpack. Okay.
Forward and aerial light forward are fantastic for slapping opponents away. And the Super Bubblegum Mobile covers his entire body with an active hitbox, making it a very difficult attack to challenge and a great one to throw out if you get overwhelmed or have trouble landing.
Oh my god. That's okay.
To touch on one of Jimmy's weaknesses, his recovery is rather average, being pretty slow and vulnerable overall since the up special doesn't have a hitbox. If you have your jump, however, you can use that during the up special and then up special again if you'd like. And don't forget, you can always slime cancel to get out early.
Oh, so his rockets are actually his jump. Interesting.
And don't forget, you can always slime cancel to get out early, or use Goddard as a way to provide cover. This all only scratches the surface of what might be possible with Jimmy.
That's definitely his grab animation. Okay.
Run some experiments and show off all the tech that you've discovered.
So I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible. I am going to absolutely hate playing against Jimmy. I can already see this happening with the Goddard and that down and the bubble that covers your entire body. Oh my god, I am going to despise fighting this character. But that's because I hate playing against zoners. If you don't mind playing against zoners, and obviously you wouldn't really mind playing against Jimmy. He doesn't seem that bad. You know, I'm going to hate it, but if you don't mind it, it's not the end of the world. But all of that to say, he's really cool. Like, I think having that Puppet Master type character is really, really cool. I think it's a really unique mechanic to put in the game because we kind of had that with Zim. But Goddard seems a little bit more in-depth. Seems like Jimmy's going to be a character that has a very high skill floor and a very high skill ceiling, where he's going to be really kind of hard to pick up. And like if you don't play him, and like if you're playing with friends and you random into him, he might be kind of difficult to really use effectively. But the potential is absolutely off the charts and insane. I mean, excuse me. Sorry, guys, I drove back last morning. I got back in at like 5 in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. He seems like he has really high potential. I imagine when the game first drops, people are going to really be seeing like a ton of success with him. But as we learn a lot more of his tricks and people get used to him, he's probably going to be a pretty menacing character. You know, out of the three we've seen so far, Sponge, Squid, and Jimmy, I think Jimmy probably has the highest potential just because of all the options he has available to him. That being said, it's going to come down to, because we don't really have air dashes available to us all the time now, unless you want to use meter, how are we going to get in against Jimmy? Because if we can get in against Jimmy, he doesn't really seem all that dangerous. Like, he has some disjoints, yeah, and it looks like he has some stuff. Like, you know, up close and personal kind of seems like, you know, Tafar said, like the big weakness of him, especially that recovery. I mean, and having no hitbox on that recovery, and that is slow. That is a very, very slow recovery. If you have anything that spikes, he's pretty much dead. But you can still, you know, it looks like Jimmy has some stuff up close, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the main concern. Like, it really seems like how can we adapt and get around Goddard is going to be the big thing. So it's going to be interesting. Jimmy could either be really, really good or he could be kind of mediocre. I think it depends on the speed of the game and how many tools we have at our disposal to really deal with Goddard. Like, it seems like if you have like a big disjoint type move and you can just destroy Goddard, it's not the end of the world. I don't know what the cooldown on summoning him is. I could ask around and see if anybody has that data, but I think Jimmy has a really high skill ceiling. I think out of the three so far, I think Jimmy has the highest potential, but he also has the most potential to be kind of just mid. Squid, I think, is going to be pretty solid just because of, you know, the DJC stuff. And Sponge, I think, is going to be like high mid just because like he's kind of basic, but I mean, he has a lot of tools and a lot of stuff at his disposal. And I mean, he was really good in 1, and they haven't changed a ton about him in 2. So I don't really see why he would be any worse now. So we haven't seen any characters that I think are going to be like outright bad, honestly. Seems like everyone's got some sauce. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the characters we've seen so far. I'm really excited to play this game. We don't have an official release date. It is theorized it's going to be late October based on some stuff that we've seen. Not official yet, but yeah, obviously as these character showcases keep coming out, I will keep doing them and keep seeing what this game has to offer. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys again next time.